Hello students. I've got a lot of students asking me about question 6 of the sending task. So here I'm going to help you out. While I cannot help you to solve question 6, I can do a question that's quite similar to it. Alright, so if you understand how we can do it here, you should be able to do question 6. So let's look here. I raise a certain number to the power of 4. Then I multiply the result by 2. Then I divide the result by the square of that certain number. The result is 18. What is that certain number? So the question is asking me, I've got an unknown number. Okay? And I've done some stuff to that unknown number. So maybe if we want to find an unknown, what sort of math are we going to use? You have to think back to year 7 maths. When we are trying to find some unknowns, we're going to use algebra. So maybe we're going to say let x equals to a certain number. Okay, so we're trying to find this x. This is what we don't know. This is what we're trying to solve. So the question, let's just go step by step. I raised a certain number to the power of 4. So how would we write that in terms of algebra? If I raise a number to the power of 4, that's just x to the power of 4, right? And then I multiply the result by 2. So I'm going to multiply this by 2, which is just 2x to the power of 4, right? Remember, when we have 2x to the power of 4, it means 2 times x to the power of 4. Then I'm going to divide the result by the square of this certain number. So what he's saying is I'm going to divide this whole thing by the square of that certain number. So x squared. Okay? And the result is 18. So if he's saying the result is 18, obviously that is saying this whole thing equals to 18. You see, math is so beautiful that I can represent all that writing just with this beautiful equation. It looks a little bit complicated, but we can do a little bit more to clean it up a little. Okay, so remember what we have been learning this term. We have been talking about index laws. The left-hand side of this equation, this is what we call the left-hand side, this is what we call the right-hand side. Right? Obviously, this is the left of the equal sign, we can call it the left-hand side. If we're looking at the left-hand side, it looks quite messy. But how can we clean this up a bit? Remember, I always talk about grouping similar items together. So we can group the x's together, can't we? So if we just look at this bit, x to the power of 4 over x to the power of 2 is just x to the power of 4 divided by x to the power of 2, right? So actually we can write that as x to the power of 4 divided by x to the power of 2, you minus the power. So 4 take 2, right? And then you don't forget you're still multiplying by 2 equals to 18. X to the power of 4 take 2 is x squared. And then 2 equals to 18. So I'm just going to continue here. Alright, what do we do next? We're trying to solve for x, which means I want to find what is x. So what we need to do is we need x to be by itself. I don't want anything that's stuck to the x. I need to get rid of everything that's stuck to the x. What do we need to get rid of first? Well, if we have a look, we need to get rid of the 2. Right, we need to get rid of this 2. So how do we get rid of this 2? Have a think about this. If I have 2x squared equals to 18, 2x squared means 2 times x squared. Remember, when we're trying to solve an equation, we do the opposite. Right? The opposite of timesing is divide. So if I divide both sides by 2, 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So these two will be gone because 1 times x squared is just x squared. So the 2 is gone. But if you do something on one side, you have to do the same thing on the other side. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. So now it looks much more obvious because x squared is equals to 9. I haven't taught you about square root yet, but you can think about x squared equals to 9. What he's saying is x times x equals to 9, right? So I've got a number. If you have the number multiplied by itself, it's going to give me 9. And what would that number be? It has to be 3. So x equals to 3. So that certain number is 3. Because if you can check your answer. Let's check our answers. Alright, let's check our answer. Okay, so you can use your calculator. 3 to the power of 4 is 81. Right? 3 to the power of 4 is 81. Okay? And then you multiply the result by 2. So you're going to multiply 81 by 2 is 162. Right, what do you do next? It says, I now divide the result by the square of that number. Square of that number is 3 times 3 is 9. So I'm going to divide 162 by 9. 162 by 9 is 18. So the result is 18, which means my answer is correct. That certain number, and right therefore, that certain number is 3. Alright. Now if you understand how I can do this question, you should be able to work on question 6 of the sending task. Good luck.